still here because I'm too sick to fly, so yay. Anyways, the Penrose staircase is an impossible object that doesn't look that weird on its surface. Every individual set of stairs is normal. It's only impossible when you look at the object as a whole. It's the stuff of sci-fi. You almost expect a space traveler to come out the middle and tell you about the alternate reality they're from where stairs like this are commonplace. MC Escher drew arguably the most famous depiction of this impossible object, leading to it sometimes being referred to as an Escher staircase, which may be why the Escher sentence is called what it is. An Escher sentence being a sentence that looks okay initially, but upon further inspection makes no sense. More people have been to Russia than I have, seems like any regular sentence, but it's not actually communicating anything except individual words. And speaking of Russia and poor communication, oh, did somebody get his feelings hurt? Did somebody have to confront the fact that his actions are incredibly unpopular and he's getting the collective fist of the world rammed directly to his face? Is it cringy to say, Russian embassy, go fuck yourself? It is. Well then, I'm sorry. Literally, I am legally required to be sorry. It's the First Amendment of Canada, which is probably part of the reason tomorrow they're to make bail. Just saying words you've heard lawyers say doesn't mean you're presenting a coherent legal argument. Miranda rights is a legal term in a specific set of circumstances that no one at the convoy met. They're rights in the same country where a congresswoman said that we need freedom more than Ukraine does.
So I pray for Ukraine, and I wish them the best. They have a great president right now who's really said clearly, live free or die. He said, I don't need a ride. Give me ammunition. The fight is right here. But we also have neighbors to the north who need freedom and need to be liberated, and we need that right here at home as well.
The Governor General had to issue a statement laying out what powers she does and doesn't have because so many people called her office asking her to dissolve Parliament that she wasn't able to do the things she's actually supposed to do. Part of that may have been because of images like this. And the fact that enough people to paralyze the Governor General's office saw this and were inspired to contact her. Like, we're not even counting the people who saw it and didn't do anything. And yet, I didn't know this was even a thing. It really just emphasizes how different sides of the culture war live in different worlds that don't really intersect. But seriously, while physical war wages in the physical Western world, the culture war that's been playing out on the social world has finally come to Canada. A convoy of trucker cosplayers claimed they wanted to discuss laws with Justin Trudeau while simultaneously hanging effigies of him and wearing nooses with his name on it. And sure, you can argue that several hundred people will all have different opinions, but if the convoy was really so peaceful, then why weren't there enough peaceful people to drive out the violent ones? And I know that didn't happen because every single time I stepped foot outside the apartment, I was made to regret it. I could forget that they existed only when I distracted myself with social media and only if I had strong enough earplugs. Maybe it's no wonder that some of the people I used to be friends with didn't think that the things I lived were actually happening, because even I didn't always have to think about them. As long as I shut myself away inside, I didn't have to be confronted with the fact that I was only in Ottawa in the first place because my mother-in-law needed a Hummer while hers couldn't reach her. But then to hear others telling me that all the things I was living weren't actually happening. I blocked even some self-proclaimed leftists I was friends with, whom I had gone to rallies and protests with, because I could not believe that these people would insist on their perception of my life over my actual life. And this isn't even some kind of they only trusted rebel media kind of thing. Like, we all more or less watch the same news programs. We follow the same social media. Me somewhat less so, because I hate communism, and don't even think about asking me why unless you are willing to receive an answer while I can see your face. Anyways, nothing they said communicated anything I could understand. I knew what every individual word they said meant, but taken as a whole, it was like hearing more people have been to Russia than I have over and over and over. There are people who genuinely believe Putin's propaganda that Russian forces aren't invading Ukraine and just denazifying it. And I saw so many people say they really weren't white supremacists in Ottawa, and I just cannot understand how these words are being used this way. Like, at least until the invasion officially started and a lot of bots stopped spamming Reddit and Discord, and I could actually look at the news and see Pat King in his Odin sweatshirt and go, oh, right, I have eyes. You know, people have talked about how incredible it is that the world united against Putin so quickly, but what I see is how fast reality was able to reassert itself when Putin focused his violence from a cultural war to a physical war. But I'm being too optimistic. It's not like Canada didn't have monuments to Nazis since before Lauren Boebert was even born. That's the thing about reality. It never feels complicated when you live because, well, how can people not believe in reality? Like, I can understand falling for misinformation. I have. My last video was on accidentally advertising Nazis. But it was also about how when the blinders that kept me from seeing reality for what it was were removed, I accepted that and changed my behavior accordingly. But when I tried to communicate my experience in Ottawa to the people I ultimately had to leave behind to avoid the frustration of being gaslit, it was like trying to explain the meaning of an Escher sentence. What does more people have been to Russia than I have mean? Why do some people superimpose the legal system of a different country onto ours? How terrifying must the world be when you believe that it's run by shadowy figures who drank children's blood to gain superpowers? I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't know if anybody does. How can you communicate the reality we live in to someone who only understands reasoning from a reality where these stares are common? PK is a cowardly asshole, screaming racial slurs with necrotizing fascist titties. Nope. TL is a lying thief presenting to a jail cell with cranial rectal impaction, head stuck up. Oh my god. JB. And I wish I were talking about Justin Bieber because he is a much, much more intelligent and compassionate. This went off the rails.